Hello everyone. I hope I am audible. I'm clear. Please confirm if yes, at least let me know in the messages that I'm audible. Okay, fine. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for the confirmation. Yeah, I think we can get started with the session. So yes, today we'll be discussing about privacy policy. So privacy policy, what is it, why it is required, and who require it, and why it is important for any of the institution or any legal entity to have a good and sound privacy policy. So let us understand with the first thing, what is it? What is the legal background for that one? So the legal background is it comes from the right to privacy that the constitutional right that is being provided uh, in the constitution, and also in the other laws that we have. And apart from that, we also have the Data Protection Act that is coming into force, like your DPDP Act, and also we have GDPR, California privacy laws, everything in place. In order to comply with all of these things, it is very important for us to have the privacy policy in place. And also, if you have seen websites, hardly you will not find any website without privacy policy, because that's one of the mandate while creating the website, that we have to have that. And also when we are applying for a payment gateway, or if we are applying for any of the services, then the first thing they'll ask is, where is your privacy policy, what does it states, and how are you going to protect your data? So now, yeah, so where it is, you will find it everywhere: website privacy policy, mobile app privacy policy, e-commerce privacy policy, and many more. Everywhere, like as I said, you will hardly find any place which will not have a privacy policy in place. Now, what does it differentiate, or how does it different from a contract? Here there is no preamble. When I say no preamble, it will not define who are the parties, like including the heirs, successors, and all other things that we write in the first party, in the second party, all other things. We don't do that. It's nowhere there. And next one is no formal execution. When I say no formal execution, you don't actually sign it, either wet sign or the the digital signature or e-signature. It is not there. It's just a click wrap thing, and sometimes it is not even click wrap thing. Whenever you visit a website, it is understood that you adhere to their privacy policies, so you don't do an express execution. It is all implied. It is understood that you are sharing your data in that way, or you are okay to be, you are okay your data to be processed, you are okay your data to be stored, and all other things. Now the last one is versions. So in contract, we have amendments, and then that contract will be called as amended contract, or amendment number one, addendum number one, and so on. So in privacy policy, or any policy for that matter, we do not have amendments or addendums. All that we have is versions. So the privacy policy or any policy will have version number one, dated so and so, version number two, dated so and so. So it's all about the process, like how it goes. So this is the brief introduction of privacy policy. It is very important in the perspective of constitutional laws, and also the data protection laws. And there is no exceptions. Like you cannot tell that, okay, so data privacy policy is not applicable here. No, anywhere any data is given, privacy policy plays a very important role. Now you can ask me why I have specifically chosen this one. Trust me when I say this, once DPDP Act is totally notified, the demand for drafters of privacy policy will be too high. As of now, on a very ground level, what is happening is simply people will search in Google, like give us a privacy policy template, and they'll just copy and paste. But once DPDP Act is notified and once that is in place, then everything should be according to that one. It has to be picture perfect, like there is no compromise in that one, because there are penal clauses also in the DPDP Act, which states about bifurcation of the data and the storage of data, security of data, so many things. The people who have attended the DPDP session would know it better, like how exactly the act covers the data governance. So this is all about the introduction of privacy policy. Now, I have one question for you before we actually jump into the privacy policy drafting or understanding what it is. Before that, we'll understand data. And now here the question is, what is typically collected through cookies and other tracking technologies? Okay, remember this. Privacy policy and cookie policy are totally two different things. I'll tell you what are those. Now, the question for the moment is, what is typically collected through cookies and other tracking technologies? So you would have entered, when you enter into a website, it will ask you like, you are okay to use all the cookies or customized cookies or compulsory mandatory cookies. So what do you want to choose? Okay, so it asks you that question, that pop-up comes up. So now what is collected through that cookies? When you give OK to all, what is the information that is going to the website developers? So your time starts now. Please let me know your answers. I have answer number 2, option number 3, option number 3, 3. Okay, so many options for, so many answers for option number 3. 3, 3, 3, 3. Okay. I see a lot of numbers for 3. Any more answers? Okay, so I don't see any more answers. Now the correct answer is 3. Browsing behavior and device information. Now you might have seen, now you if you have not observed that, give a try that, search something in Google. For example, search for a jewelry ad. Search for a jewelry, like you want to get a silver coated, oh sorry, a gold coated silver jewelry, and the next moment your ad things will be totally filled up with the gold jewelry suggestions. You will get a lot of Gmails, like in the in the ad box you can find a lot of ads, everything, everywhere your internet will be filled with those kind of information. And also if you are in a habit of reading Google News, the news that you read would be popping up again and again. Suppose if you are interested in horoscope, or you read those kind of information, your news feed will be automatically showing you that one, similar to that of your Instagram algorithm also. Like it will show you the content that you want to see. That is all because of the cookies. So now privacy policy and cookie policy are two different things. So just because somebody has a privacy policy, they cannot skip from having a cookies policy. They should be having the cookies policy also in place, because in cookies policy, it is more of the technological terms. Like it will explain what is the nature of the cookies that they are going to use, and what is the kind of data that is they are going to take, and how they are going to store that particular information. So all of those things related to cookies will be in the cookies policy. Okay, wherein privacy policy will deal with other information. Now, for example, uh, if you visit Indian Institute of Industrial and Professional Studies website, www.iipsindia.net, there the cookies will tell me that yes, this person has visited the website at this location at this time, and he was using the website for all these duration, and these are the pages that he has visited. All the information I'll be getting, that is with the help of cookies. Therefore, that things are governed by cookie policy. So there in the cookies policy, you can find that, okay, so all my details are tracked this way. This is the data that is being sent to the website developer. When the privacy policy comes into picture, the moment you create your profile at IIPS India website, that you give your name, you give your age, you give your location, you give your highest qualification, all of these things will be governed by privacy policy. So this is the difference between cookies policy and privacy policy, and they are read together, but they are not the similar data, or they are not similar policy. They are two different standalone policies. So this is about cookie policy and privacy policy. I hope this is clear to you. Now, privacy policy is all about data. I have taken an example from our DPDP session. So here, the example is a student X creates an account at Indian Institute of Industrial and Professional Studies through his website or mobile application. To complete the admission process, X opts for processing of their personal data by IAPS, including name, contact information, location, and academic qualification. The personal data will be stored in the cloud services as well as in the Google Sheet. So now we'll understand who are the parties. Here, X, that is the student, U is the data principal. And in Indian Institute of Industrial and Professional Studies, we are data fiduciary, or we are significant data fiduciary. Significant data fiduciary is defined by the DPDP Act as an entity which has high volume of data, and also the data which is related to sovereignty and integrity of India, and which is related to the public order, which is related to the security of the state, and there are like so many parameters. The government will decide whether we are significant data fiduciary or only the data fiduciary. Okay, so if we get any notification from the government that you have high volume of data, that's why you are categorized as significant data fiduciary, then we fall under that particular category. So after this, we have Google Sheet as the data processor. So these three are very important things to understand so that you can add this language in your privacy policies. Let me repeat once again. The student who is giving his data is the data principal. Data fiduciary is the person who receives that particular data. Data processor is the entity who is storing and processing the data. In addition to this, we have data auditors who is going to see whether the data is stored properly, whether there is adequate security, that it is not going into public domain, and also we are collecting only the data that is required to us. Now, for example, while creating a profile at IIPS India, we do not ask about your marital status or relationship status, because it has nothing to do with this, nothing to do with the courses that you take. But yes, we do ask about your highest qualification so that we can understand that where do you stand academically and what is the experience that you have, so that we can enhance our learning experience, that enhance your learning experience by providing the courses that are adequate to you. And also it will help us to resolve your queries or talk to you, or deal with you more specifically in a proper and appropriate manner. Moving next, we have consent managers. So consent managers are the one who um, are having the authority to give consent on behalf of us. For example, DigiLocker, it is not the exact consent manager, but to some extent it has access. We have given it consent to access all our data that is related to our Aadhaar card, and all the travel histories that we have, if we link it to DigiYatra. So by there we are giving the consent. So consent managers are the one who give consent on our behalf. So now once DPDP is notified, then the consent managers will have more role to play. And then we have grievance officer. Grievance officers are the ones who resolve the disputes regarding the leakage of data. So if there is any leakage or if there is any dispute in the data, then the grievance officers are the one who is going to decide the matter. So this is all about the parties that are involved in the privacy policy. Moving next. Now we'll talk about data. Before I talk about data, I want to know which of the following is considered as personal data. The options are name and email address, IP address, device type, aggregate usage statistics. So let me know which one is a personal data here. First one, all. First one, one. Okay, one, 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 one. Okay, one and two, four. Hmm. Any more answers? The correct answer is name and email address. Now let us know why it is one. So I am showing the screen to you. So this particular data is divided into three types. Okay. So data, general data. Second one is personal data. Third one is sensitive personal data. So let me explain what is general data. First, let me start with what is data. So data is something which is an information which provides a certain kind of clue, or which provides certain kind of identity, or which provides certain kind of knowledge, information, whatever it is. Anything that has matter, it is called as data. Now this data is divided into three types. First one is general data. Second one is personal data. Third one is sensitive personal data. Now, general data is something that is generic information. Okay, so that is you are having 5 cars. Okay, imagine you have 5 cars with you, then that's called as general data. Yes, he owns 5 cars. Or if you are having a big bungalow, then you are owning a big bungalow. That is called as general data, a generic information about you. Now, personal data. Personal data is something which leads to the identification that yes, this is this person. Okay. Now, for example, my Aadhaar card number. My Aadhaar card number is unique to me. That is why it is my personal data. Nobody else has that particular Aadhaar card number. Okay, my email ID, my phone number. So all the things that are unique to me are called as personal data. Now, sensitive personal data. Sensitive personal data are the one which are very which are very critical in nature, like which is I could say that which is very a crucial thing, like my health updates. Okay, my medical history. I do not want everybody to know my medical history, that this is my medical history and this is how I have dealt, and this is what diseases I had, this is what happened to me, this is the medication that I am taking, or any other things. So that is called as sensitive personal data, which is very confidential, and I would like to have it for myself. That is called as sensitive personal data. So in the previous example, the name, email IDs which are unique to me, which leads to an identification that yes, this is exactly this person, then that is called as personal data. Now there were certain things like IP address was also there. So IP address is something that doesn't lead to my identification. It will tell that okay, fine, this was sent from this IP address, that means it was from this Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi connection, or from this laptop. whatsoever technical matter, but it does not tell that exactly this person has sent. Okay, I do not have an IP address exclusively for me which I know, or something like that. A same laptop can be used by multiple persons. Multiple persons will be connected to a single Wi-Fi. So it is not something which is very unique to me and which is leading to my identification, wherein my name, my email ID are leading to my identification, and any person will be able to find out that yes, this is me. So that is called as, that is why only my name and my email ID are the correct answer for the question. That is called as personal data. I hope the differentiation between data, personal data, and sensitive personal data are very much clear and understood. Now, when we draft a privacy policy, what are the data clauses that are we supposed to add? So we have to add the type of the data collected. Like, what is the nature of data that you are going to collect? Like the name, email ID, phone number, location, and qualification, all other things. So how are you, what are the types of data that you have collected over here? A general data, personal data, or any kind of sensitive personal data are you collecting? Now, data collection process. How are you going to collect the data? Will there be any kind of application form, or will there be any kind of verbal discussion that is going on? So all other things, or will there be any other data person who is going to provide you the data? All of these things will be put up here. Like, how are you collecting the data? What is the process, and what is the stages of collecting the data? After that, you will tell how are you going to use the data. Okay, so what is the usage that you are going to do? Now, for example, as I said, we ask for your highest qualification because we would like to know what is, where do you stand academically, and also professionally, so that we can curate the courses that suit to you, and also we can speak to you in that manner, like understanding your um, grasping level or understanding level, and handle it that way. Okay, because some students ask for the extension of time, and some ask for like, oh, we are working professionals, it is difficult. So that way we can have a cross verification. Yes, this person is this. So it will help us. And then data storage. Where are we going to store the data? Whether it is going to be our in-house custom made software, or it will be in the Google Sheets, or it will be in the iCloud. Where are we going to store it? That is also very, very important to be mentioned in the privacy policy. Data sharing. With whom we are sharing the data? Who will be having access to your data? That is also very crucial thing. Now, for example, when we speak about the institute, suppose if we get any guest lecture, or if we get any outside speaker, or if we collaborate with any law firm, then we may ask them to incorporate their signatures in the certificates. At that point of time, it is very much mandatory for us to share your names, share your, even sharing the name is also comes under privacy policy. Okay, sharing your name or email ID, copying them in the emails that has been sent to you regarding the certification of completion. So all of these things, we are bound to share the data. So the same thing we have to mention in the privacy policy, that this is how we are going to do it. And sometime what happens is we take some if we outsource the certification work, or if we outsource the website maintenance work, then under those circumstances it will be uh, very much upfront that we have to mention it in the privacy policy. Use of cookies, log files, and tracking. Yes, so what are the cookies that we are going to use? How are we going to process it? All of those things will be mentioned here. Now, if we have a cookies policy, then we can link it over here. Like, you can find the cookies policy here, so we can link it from there, and they can refer the cookies policy. And data sharing and disclosure. Yes, certain disclosures are mandatorily to be done. So what's about that disclosures? Security measures. What is the security that we have taken to protect your data? Whether we have MFA, like multi-factor authorization. You can find it in WhatsApp also, wherein you have to enter a code to access your WhatsApp. Like for example, we do have that security measure here. Like even if the phone is unlocked, they'll not be able to open WhatsApp. They'll have to enter that password. So it's kind of dual security. And also sometimes in Gmails also you can find this multi-factor authorization, wherein they have to enter a code which they receive via email or via text message or a pop-up from the Gmail that yes, you are, if you are trying to sign in. So these are the security measures that are to be adopted to keep the data safe. Next is deletion and retention of data. A right to be forgotten is a right that is upheld by the Supreme Court of India and also our other legislations from time to time. At regular intervals, they have upheld the right to be forgotten. And in that light, it is very important for a privacy policy to have the deletion right. Now, if a student doesn't want to receive any regular communications from us from the institute, then we have to give them an option that okay, we are going to stop sending you the messages. Like they can reply just stop, or they can just tell okay, unsubscribe me from the list. Then we'll stop sending them any kind of communications further. That's the right that they have. So even after you tell someone stop, don't send me messages, they send it, then that is something that they should not be doing. Okay, so you have the right to be forgotten, and all your data should be deleted. And now again, in such cases there are certain policies which speak about the retention of data for some statutory purpose or for some government purpose. So if there is anything like that, then it has to be mentioned. Now, for example, you have taken certificate from IAPS India in one of the courses. What happens is we do tell you that this is a verifiable certificate. So in case of any verification of by your prospective employer or from your college or from your current employer who have sponsored you for that course, they can write at info@iapsindia.net. So now if you choose for right to forget and you want to delete your profile, then again that verification thing we will not be able to do. So that is also a criteria that we have to address. Okay, so we will not be able to do. And also, as you know that we are an ISO certified institute and we are answerable to ISO authorities. We are supposed to submit a report that we have conducted so and so courses, and these are the students who have attended the courses, and these are the certifications, and this is the assessment method that we had, and this is the answer sheets that they have given. So randomly, they have the right to audit it also. So even though you chose the right to forget or right to deletion, even then we'll have to retain some part of our data for the statutory purposes. And then user rights. Yes, as a user, you have several rights, like right to correction, right to modification as well, and right to forget, and right to choose certain kind of communications. Now, for example, in Naukri, you can find this. Like it says, it gives you options, several options. Like I want to receive only these kind of messages or emails. So that's your right. And now some people does not want to receive email communication. They're like, yeah, I only want WhatsApp, please do send me only in WhatsApp, not on the emails. So yes, we have to adhere that. Instead of sending email communications, we will send WhatsApp. And some people are like, no, don't WhatsApp, send me email. I'll read email whenever I'm free, whenever I do have the bandwidth. So yes, there we have we are duty bound to not to send them via WhatsApp, but to send them via email. So these are some of the rights that you have. So in a good privacy policy, you have to cover all of these data related things. Now, if you ask me, is this the conclusive list? No, this is not the conclusive list. The list may it may not reduce for sure, but it will be lengthened depending on the nature or the kind of the industry to which you are drafting the privacy policy. Now, if you are drafting it for a SaaS provider, then it will have certain other technical terminologies also, like the passwords, the access to accounts, admin accounts, and all other things. So in the SaaS, you have that one. And if you are drafting for a hospital, then you will have a lot of sensitive personal data involved over there, because it's all about the health matters. So all of those things has to be covered in the privacy policy. So this is all about data, a lot about data. Now, yes, so here I have a question on the previous discussion topic that we just discussed it. Okay, so I do expect everyone to answer for this question. The question is, which of the following is an example of sensitive data that may require higher protection? The options are name, email address, purchase history, and health information. Yeah, I'm really happy I'm getting answers before I started the timer and I started the answers. Options. Yeah, before options, I've got so many answers. Yeah, so everybody is answering four, four. Anybody wants to have a deviation? Any more answers? Okay, now when everyone has said four, I'll also go with all of you. That's four. Yes, health information is a sensitive data and that requires higher protection from all the other personal data. So name, email address, but name and email address is personal data because it leads to your identification. Purchase history is just data. It is not personal data or it is not sensitive data, because purchase history will not lead to the identification. So it is just data, and health information is sensitive data or sensitive personal data. Moving next, let us look at what are the other contents of privacy policy. So it will have the scope, like who will be covered by it. Now, if I speak about IAPS India, it is the privacy policy will be generally covering all the students or the participants who get enrolled in the courses, not just enrolled in the courses, who create their profile in the website. Like they need not necessarily enroll to a course. If they create a profile, then they are agreeing to the privacy policy. If you see the drop down, if you I'm not sure if you have visited the website. If you have visited there, then while you're creating the profile, there is a click wrap thing that yes, I agree all the terms and conditions and I agree the privacy policy. So that is wherein you are giving an implied consent to the privacy policy that we have. And then consent. Free consent is very, 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 very important. Privacy, collecting any data without their consent is something that is illegal. You cannot do that. Any data that you collect, you should have the consent from them. Now, for example, if you want somebody's Aadhaar card, a copy of it, then you have to ask them. Only if they are okay, then they should be providing to you. You cannot like against their consent you cannot take. And also you have the liberty not to give any kind of service if they do not provide you the adequate information. Now, for example, while creating the any website or while downloading any app, you will get that okay, you have to agree to this privacy policy. So if you don't agree to the privacy policy, you will not be able to use that app. For example, we had a very landmark judgment of Facebook. Now, in that case, what happened is like Meta privacy policies. It was a very big thing happened, and Meta was very no, we are not going to amend the privacy policy, and all other things happened. But still, somewhere the other, the law intervened and it said, yeah, though it is your space, your privacy policy, whatever it is, but still you should be adhering to the laws of the land. And therefore, consent, you can like it is a regulated thing. It's a win and win situation for both of us. If you want, you have to give consent. If you don't want, you don't give consent. It is up to you. It is up to your discretion. And yes, the service providers are at the liberty not to provide you the consent and not to provide you the services or benefits. Next is opt-out policy. As discussed earlier, right to forget, right to be forgotten. So you have all rights that the digital media forgets you. So this not just out of the context. This is not just in the case of the creating profile or doing anything, but also if there is any news in Google that is spread about you, a false narrative and all other things, then also you can leverage your right to be forgotten, and you can delete all the related content. The recent example for that would be the Aradhya Bachchan and others case in Delhi High Court, which wherein she filed through a GPA holder. She filed a case stating that she's been pictured as a sick child in various YouTube channels, and which is creating a false narrative about her health and all other things. So, and also all those content were removed from the internet, and all those news articles were removed from the internet. So that's a kind of leveraging the right to be forgotten uh, uh, right. And modifications of policy, as said earlier, there will be different versions. So at the end of the session, I'll show you how the versions look like. And contact information, this is very important. This will give the information of the grievance officer. If they have any kind of issues, then they have to reach out to that person and this person and do all other things. And then we have cookies policy. Cookies policy, that's the first thing I explained. What is the difference between privacy policy and the cookies policy? Cookies are something that is very technical, and that is, you need not create your profile, you need not upfront share your data, but still the technologically all your data will be stored, and the cookies policy will govern what is the data stored and how it is being processed. And next we have third party links. Third party links are where, like for example, now in IAPS web, it's like we have the InstaMojo as our payment gateway processor. What happens is, when you uh, pay for a course, you will be deviated to the InstaMojo page, wherein over there you will have to enter your details, like your phone number, like your details and all other things. And also some part of your information will be shared with InstaMojo. Okay, like you have created a profile with IAPS India, it will be automatically known to InstaMojo. Okay, so that's your personal data. Okay, so you are having a profile at IAPS India is a data that I have to protect. So I am sharing it with InstaMojo. So by default, I have to mention in the privacy policy that yes, I am sharing a part of the data to InstaMojo for processing the payment services. And yes, the rest of the data that you enter at InstaMojo will be governed by the privacy policy of InstaMojo, because we as an entities, InstaMojo and IAPS, we do not have any kind of data sharing agreement or any data agreement that is in place. All that we have is our privacy policy and their privacy policy. So you are bound by their privacy policy also. And also the payments, if it is via any payment gateway, or if it is via bank transfers, all of these things will be processed. And in some websites you can even find the disclaimer that the card information that you have put up, that is not stored by us, it is directly navigated to the bank and all other things. And also you will get a pop-up in between that you are redirected to bank's page. I hope you have observed that. That is because the privacy policy. Okay, so they are making it very clear that you are leaving our page. The data, whatever you enter at the later part, will be in the bank's page, but it will not be in our page. Okay, so all these things are like they are technological, and also they are legal also. It is very important that we put all of these things in place. So this is all the things, like that's a privacy policy should be covering. Moving next. um, Here I have a question. Please let me know the answers for this one. The question is, if a company updates its privacy policy, how does it typically inform users? By sending email to each user, by posting the updated policy with an effective date on the website, by notifying users in person, or by publishing a press release. I have not covered this one. I've just told that there are different versions, but I have not told how it is and what it is. Let me know the answers. I have only one answer till now. That is option 1 by Sahil. Option 3, 2, all. Okay. So there are different answers. Like I've got all 1, 3, 2. Anyone 4, 2, 1. Okay, 4. Hmm. Okay. So any more answers? I have only like 3, 6, 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. Any other answers? Okay, I hope there are no other answers. Okay, the right answer for this one is by posting the updated policy with an effective date on the website. This is the apt method that many of them follow. But you might ask me that I have seen Google's email coming to me that, and YouTube's email coming to me that we have updated our policies and all other things. That is a best practice that they follow. That is an extra effort or extra attempt that they do to let you know that the policies are updated. But the general law, what is its status? You have to update in the website, and also you have to tell what version it is. Like as I said, there is no amendment, there is no addendums, there is nothing for a privacy policy or any policy for that matter. It is all about versions: version 1, version 2, version 3, and also since when it is effective. So that thing has to be put up in the website. And yes, if you are sending an email, that's a good thing. That's not something which is expected by law to do. It's not an illegal thing, or it's not a wrong thing that you do not inform the user by sending an email to them. Because see, sometimes you may not collect other person's email. Okay, you may just, like for example, as I said, cookies. Suppose the privacy policy and cookie policy are in the same thing, then when the person has not collected the email ID itself, then how can it be expected that yes, an email would be sent? Okay, to solve that issue, what they are doing is, what law is expecting is that in the website, post the updated version, and yes, along with that, add the effective changes or any upgrades or any amendments, anything or any deletions in privacy policy is to be notified to the customers or notified to the users of the website. Moving next, we'll now draft a privacy policy for a XYZ hospital. I have chosen a hospital very specifically because it covers the sensitive personal data, and also data, and also a lot of the other complex things when compared to that of the others. So your your privacy policy will start with introduction, and in introduction, you will tell the overview, like what is the objective of the hospital with reference to the privacy policy of the patient. That is, protecting the patient privacy and ensuring the confidentiality of personal health information. Here, the focus is on personal health information because it is a sensitive data. And yes, to whom this applies? This policy applies to all patients, visitors, and individuals whose personal and medical data is collected, processed, or stored by the hospital. Okay, so this is applicable to all patients as well as visitors, as well as any individual. Need not be a patient, need not be a visitor, but can be an individual. So this is very broad and it covers everyone. There is like, you cannot tell that okay, this person has been left or anything like that. So everybody is covered over here. After this, type of data collected. This is also very important. You have to tell what are the data that is collected. First one, we'll start with personal identification information or personal data. You will collect name, address, phone number, email, date of birth. And then under health information, you will collect medical records, test result, treatment history, diagnosis, prescription, and medical histories. Under insurance information, you will cover insurance policy detail and claims information. Under payment information, you will collect credit card details or bank information used for payments. Yes, so you will track, right? Like from where the payment has come from. You will do that one. And then sensitive data. Any health related data protected under laws like GDPR or the Digital Personal Data Protection Act of India. So any health related data is called as sensitive data. So the hospital cannot leak any information to anyone. It need not be a negative thing. Like if any female is pregnant, then the hospital cannot tell that, yeah, there is a pregnant lady here. No, they cannot do that. She is pregnant, or I'm her daughter, I'm her doctor, I'm treating her, she is pregnant. No, it is that individual female's right. She has the right to disclose whenever she wants to. So it's not on the hospital part that, oh, she's pregnant, what's there in that, let me disclose it. No, they are not supposed to disclose it. And also they are not supposed to disclose that you are getting some treatment done, though it can be a very normal treatment. But no, they cannot even tell that, oh, he had fever, he came, and all other things. No, they cannot do that. Hospitals are very much, the laws are very strict in this. This is not just for the DPDP Act or GDPR Act, but also the Indian medical rules that we have, and also the professional laws by which the doctors are bound, Indian Medical Council rules. Those mandate that they are not supposed to share any kind of information. So here, there may be hospitals that they collect some other information also. You can, if anything like that, then you can add. So if hospital is your client, you can ask them, see, this is a generic data which will be required. So apart from this, are you collecting any other data from your clients? If yes, they have to provide it. And also here, I have not mentioned the family member details. So many of the hospitals, they do that. They ask for your family member phone number, like give me the backup call and all other things, backup phone numbers. So you can add all of these things here. It is very important to define all the kinds of data collected in the privacy policy. Moving next, methods of data collection. So how are you going to collect the data? So here, directly from the patients during registration, medical consultation, treatments, or via forms, and from healthcare providers and insurance companies to verify medical records and billing information. Yeah, with insurance also. See, like for example, when a person is admitted or getting treatment and he claims that he has an insurance, then they'll go back to the insurance company. See, these and this person has come, tell us whether he's eligible for this treatment, whether this is covered under the insurance. So all of these things are provided, all of these things are collected. Next one is automatically through electronic health records, EHR, where patients use online portals for appointment or medical records. Yeah, sometimes what happens is in very hi-fi hospitals. When I say hi-fi hospital, technologically sound hospitals, they'll be creating a profile of yours wherein they will be having a history of, or a medical history of yours, like whatever treatment you have taken earlier, when you have visited, if you had visited for any other treatment with any other doctors, all of those things will be there in their software. So that is called as an electronic health record. So yes, they can access it. So if your first visit was with a radiologist and next time you visited a dermatologist, so the dermatologist will be able to see the details or the medications that a radiologist had preferred to you, or the tests that the radiologist had done on you. Okay, so that is the methods of the data collection. So this is not just limited. I have just wrote random three. There can be several other methods by which the hospital will collect the data of the persons, whoever is being visiting them for the treatment. So to start with the privacy policy, you will have the introduction, types of data collected, and how are you collecting the data. After that, you will write the purpose of data collection. Okay, so you have collected so many data. What is the purpose? The purpose is for providing the medical treatment. That is to provide your healthcare services. Am I audible now? Okay, yeah. Thank you. So can someone tell me where was I when the call got disconnected? Yeah, are we done with the data collection thing? Yes, no. Am I audible again or I got disconnected?
Ma'am, you were just telling us the purpose of data collection, and then it got disrupted.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, thank you, Prajakta. So let me start. Let me tell this once again. So medical treatment, to provide healthcare services, diagnosis, and treatment, like to understand what is the disease that we are having, and then for billing and insurance, to understand whether it is claimable under insurance and what is the eligibility and all other things. Legal compliance, it's not just to health authorities but to the government, but to court, but police officers, like to give evidence in the court. Most importantly in cases of sexual assault, murder, and all other things. Even the residues that you will find in the finger, that you find in the nails, are also considered as an medical evidence, and even that constitute the personal data, sensitive personal data. Communication, yes, to send appointment reminders, health notifications, follow-ups. If you're using Practo, you will get these notifications that the doctor has suggested for follow-up, how are you doing, and all other things. So that is how the data is collected and the data is processed. Next, we have data sharing and disclosure. So how are you going to disclose the data? To whom you are going to provide the data? So with healthcare providers, that is doctors, because they have to treat you. With insurance companies, yes, they have to provide the claim. That's why to bill and all other things. To regulatory authorities, as required by law. So whenever the government asks, or whenever the court asks the hospital to provide any kind of evidence, then they have to do that. And third party service providers, for IT support, administrative purpose, or for payment processing. Like if any work is outsourced from that of the hospital, then they have to share the data, they have to share the information. So this is how the data will be shared from the hospital. Moving next, data security measures. Like what is the data protection that you have taken? Physical security, that is all physical data. Hospitals will have a lot of physical data. Okay, it can be your blood reports. Though they have made it digital, but still there can be chances of copies. There will be your X-rays. Even that is a sensitive personal data. I do not want my X-rays to be seen by some random person, or understand that okay, the bone is fractured, that is there, this is there. So that's my choice. I do not want to do it. So that's why it is classified as sensitive personal data. And the MRI scans, all the scans that they do, that's a very much sensitive personal data. So that's under the safe custody, physical one. Digital one, yes, there are encryptions, firewalls, and other cybersecurity measures. That is having an MFA, multi-factor authorization, and no access to everyone. And then we have access control. Yes, very limited people will have the access to the one, like doctors, nurse, admin staff. Not everybody will be given that particular access to the data. They will be given only the limited one. And in some hospitals, what they do is like they mask the identity. Instead of the person name, they use a code, or they use the patient number so and so. For the communication purpose, they don't tell the names several other times. You might have seen it in a fully like fully functional, well established hospitals. They do not scream the name. They use the patient number. Like every patient will be given an unique number, and on the basis of that number they'll address the patients. So all that is covered under the data security measures. After this, in the privacy policy of hospital, we can find patients' rights and control. What are the patient's right? Right to access. Yes, I am the patient and I have the right to see my documents. This can happen at several hospitals where they tell that we will not give you the copy of your test reports because you are admitted here, and all other things. So we will give this to you only when you are getting discharged. Otherwise, we will not give. No, they cannot do that one. Legally, they do not have the right to tell that. Whenever I want to see any document of mine in the hospital, then I have the right. And right to correct, yes. So if there are any updates required, any corrections required, then I can ask them to do it. Deletion of the uh, data, yes. So the deletion of the data can be asked, but again, as I said, subject to legal requirements. For example, if there is a sexual harassment case and if that person asks that delete my personal data, no, that's not possible, right? They are bound by the legal authorities that they are supposed to retain that data? What if an appeal goes, and what if the case reopens after some time? They should be having the information with them. They cannot tell that, no, I'm going to delete your data completely. That's not happening. That's nowhere possible. And also, for example, if a child is born, the mother cannot ask the hospital that delete the child's data. I have the right to deletion. I'm taking this decision on behalf of my minor child. No, that's not possible. So there are certain limitations to it. That is the legal requirements that has to be adhered, and on that basis it can be done. And right to opt out. Yes, you can opt out for non-essential communications. Like, I am not interested in any kind of marketing emails, or any kind of offer, or any kind of services that you provide, any event invitations. I am not interested in all of these things. So you can opt out for the communications. And also, if the hospitals are continuously following up, you can even ask them, please stop following up. And data retention, yes, this is very important. So what is the period for which they are going to retain the data? Sometimes it can be permanent retention, and sometimes it can be like for 3 years, 4 years, 10 years, 15 years. So that period of time they are going to retain the data. Now, if you ask me for the educational institution, it is generally 3 years. Now, for example, I have written the exam today, and I've submitted my exam papers today to the college. Then the college is supposed to be maintained to protect that particular data, that is my answer script, for the next three academic years. So that is the retention period. After academic year, they can dispose it. And also, it's like they have to wait till I finish my graduation for the clock to start. So when I'm in that college, till that period of time, they have to retain the data. After I graduate, then for the period of 3 years, they can dispose the answer scripts and all other things. But still, they'll retain the data that I was a student of that college. This was my enrollment number. These are the marks that are scored by me. All other things forever. So that is a permanent data that they are going to retain. Even after the college is closed, even after the college gets closed, that data will remain in any of the records of the college. Okay, if the government will have the record of the college, and parallelly it will have my personal data also over there. So it is not something that I can ask the institution, or I can ask the college, or I can ask the university that you delete it. Some data are permanently retained for the legal necessities. And data deletion, and data is deleted when it is no more required, like for medical billing or legal purpose. When it is not required, the minor data, then they will be deleting it. And international data transfers, this is also very important. And this is in hospitals, this is majorly done because sometimes in some hospitals they take in-phone consultation or online consultation from a doctor who is located outside India. So they'll be sharing the data of the patient. So that at that point of time, they'll be ensuring that the online transfer of data, whatever is done, is in compliance with international data protection laws. Like wherever possible, masking is done. The photograph of the person is not spread across everywhere. Now, for example, if there is a sexual assault case, and there are certain bruise marks in the face which needs to be investigated, and they are taking help from some international doctor, at that point of time they cannot take a picture of the female and they cannot just share it. They have to blur it. Okay, they have to ensure that only the wounds are highlighted, and that photograph will not help to identify that yes, she is the victim of the sexual assault, because victim's identity is also to be protected under the BNS that we have. And also, it is the hospital's duty to ensure that her privacy is upheld. So all of these things has to be noted by the hospitals, just in case if they have any kind of such international doctors working on their panel. And next we have changes to privacy policy. Yes, as I discussed, the policy any will be communicated via notification in the website or via email. So as I said, sending via email is one of the best practices that companies like Google, YouTube, they do. Apart from that, the other companies, they just provide a notification, online notification, and or else they'll write in website that this privacy policy has been changed, has been updated, this is so and so version, and this will be updated, or this will be active from this particular date. Yes, and the last one is contact information. So they have to write who is the person that the concerned patient should reach out to for any kind of privacy rights or concerns they feel that yes, it is being violated. So that they need not go here and there like this person, that person. No, they have to reach out to this particular person in case of any concerns or in case of any questions. So this is how the privacy policy of a hospital looks like. And yes, I have not exactly drafted the clauses, but I have made like how it looks like a blueprint. And if you are interested in this, you can refer to the websites of any good hospitals, and you can find it. Now, to give more like live example of how privacy policy looks like in websites, I have here ChatGPT's privacy policy. I am very much sure everybody would be using ChatGPT here. Now here you can see the first thing is updated November 4, 2024. So that means ChatGPT, that is OpenAI, it has made some changes to the privacy policy on November 4, 2024. And with the changes, this privacy policy is will be effective from November 4, 2024. Okay. And yes, so this is how you tell the versions. Sometimes they'll update the versions in some companies, and now for some reason they do not have that one. And yes, in the privacy policy, you can find it in different languages. So you have in Tamil, Telugu, Urdu, Vietnamese, Dutch, Kannada, and all other Hindi. So you can find the privacy policy in all the languages. Okay, so ChatGPT, it is very easy for them to translate. So they have done it in all the languages. Now, so for the individuals in European Economic Area, United Kingdom, Switzerland, you can read this version of our privacy policy. See, you can see here, this is because in compliance with that of the EU GDPR. Okay, so to match the EU GDPR, they have a different version of privacy policy. But however, we Indians, we are bound by this particular one. So they are given their objective. What is their objective? Respect your privacy and are strongly committed to keeping secure any information we obtain from you or about you. Okay, so this is the objective that they have. They have explained what is the services and to whom it is applicable. Does not apply to the content that we process on behalf of customers of our business offering, such as our API, or our use of that data is governed by our customer agreement covering access to and use of those offerings. Okay, moving next. So the first one is personal data we collect. What is the data that they are going to collect? They are going to collect account information, user content, communication information, other information you provide. Okay, then personal device we receive from your use of the services. Okay, so when you visit, use, or interact with the services, we receive the following information about your visit, use, or interaction. Technical information. This is basically cookies. Okay, so this is what cookies does. Cookies, what does it does is log data. So your internet protocol address, browser type and settings, and the date and time of your request, and how you interact with our services. Usage data, like what is the kind of content that you engage with and all other things. And then device information, which device you have used, device identifier, etc. Location information, what is the location that you have used, this one. Cookies and similar technologies, so we are using that. They are upfront acknowledging this one in privacy policy, which is very much important for everyone, every privacy policy to have. We use cookies and similar technologies to operate and administer our service and improve your experience. If you use our services without creating an account, we may store some of the information described in the policy with cookies, for example, to help maintain your preference across browsing session. For details about our use of cookies, please read our cookie notice. So this is what I was explaining in the first part, that cookie policy and privacy policy are two different things. They may be linked to each other, but they are different one. Not they may be, they will be linked to each other mandatorily, but they are different ones. Okay, so the moment you have a privacy policy, you should be having a cookies policy also if you are using any kind of cookies. So if your website is not using any kind of cookies, then that's fine, no problem. Information we receive from other sources. So any other sources. How do we use personal data? Like what is the usage of the personal data to maintain services, respond to your questions, and all other things. Disclosure of personal data. So all the personal data that you enter in the chat GPT will be disclosed for all of these people. Vendors and service provider, business transfers, and government or authorities or third parties, affiliates, business account administrators, and other users and third parties you interact or share your information with. So your privacy policy, your personal data will be shared with all of these peoples. Next, we have retention. So how are they going to retain the data? Okay, so depend on the factors and all other things. And also 30 days for safety purpose. After that, it will be deleted, and more data controls they have given it here. And then you are right. What are the rights that you have? Restrict your personal data, update, correct, delete your personal data, lodge a complaint, so and so. And yes, see here, you can see the contact person. Okay, so this is wherein you can connect with those people. Privacy, OpenAI, request to privacy, openai.com, or at dsar@openai.com. Here it is privacy@openai.com. There is a typo error. Privacy@openai.com. A note about accuracy and all other things. They have given about children too. So it is not, ChatGPT is not intended to be used by the children who are under the age of 13. And then they have security. How are they going to protect the personal data? Additional US state disclosures, which are not applicable to us. And yes, so verification, exercising your rights, you can write it here. I think this is not a typo error. Maybe this is the email ID, or this is a link which you can use, privacy.openai.com. And then appeals, where you can appeal changes to privacy policy. See, you can see this. We may update this privacy policy from time to time. When we do, we will publish an updated version and effective date on this page unless another type of notice is required by applicable law. As I said, in law, it only says that you have to give it an update in the website. That's all. You need not send it via email, or you need not give any kind of other kind of communication. So the only mode of communication is this one as per law. And apart from this, if they do anything extra, that's a best practice that they do. And how to contact us? So you can connect with the support. So this is a 10-pointer privacy policy of ChatGPT, which is very precise, which is very good, and which will help you. Now, ChatGPT is a SaaS provider, so it is little less complex. But if you are drafting it for a hospital, wherein kind of sensitive personal data is related, and also for any educational institution, then the clauses would be little lengthy. Okay, so this is all about the privacy policy that I had to cover for the day. Yeah, if anyone has any questions or want me to walk through any of the topics that we have discussed today, we do have around 10 minutes. And also, I suggest you to read privacy policies of other companies, other organizations, to understand the things better. And whatever it will have the same blueprint which I have spoken today. However, there will be certain specification on based on the institutes. Yeah, any questions? See, and if there is no questions, then I'll have to there are two scenarios. I don't know which one to imagine. Like, you have understood everything or you have not understood anything. I hope my screen was visible throughout. Sorry, sir, I just saw your message. Yeah. Overloaded. I know it is a little a lot to process for one at once. But still, once you give a thorough read to it, you will definitely find it easy, and you'll definitely find it good one. But yes, there is a lot of yes. Uh, uh, I'll provide you the DDPA link. I'll give you that one. It is one of the previous sessions that we had conducted. I can give you the link. Okay, so can you suggest best practices where privacy policy is to be drafted for a company having its offices across the world? See, in that case, what you have to do is you have to look at the specific countries or the specific continents that it is spread across, because data laws are not a kind of universal thing. It is like very specific. Like, we have GDPR, EU GDPR, we have California privacy laws, and now in India we have DPDP Act. So you have to look at the list of the countries, and also you have to do a basic search, like what is the law related to the data in those countries. For example, in US and other countries, the social security number is compulsory to be masked, like we have our masked Aadhaar card. Similarly, you cannot disclose, and also their address is also not supposed to be disclosed. You cannot add that in the contracts also. So these are the certain things that you have to understand. uh, who can draft these privacy policies, and what are the necessary qualifications? See, these policies are drafted by advocates only. Like, advocates draft these policies. Can ChatGPT draft these agreements or privacy about which we are learning now? See, you cannot rely on ChatGPT. Even in ChatGPT, below you can find a disclosure that this is a legal information. Please connect with the concerned person. And also, you can find a description which is last, like, chat gpt can make mistakes, check important info. Okay, so you cannot totally rely on chat gpt that it is going to make the draft. Do you think having global privacy policy isn't a best practice? See, to have a global privacy policy, you have to look at the data laws of all the countries. It is not just one country, and it is not just one law. There are hundreds of data related laws. If you see, like, the number of countries will be equal to number of data laws. So it is very important to know what exactly the country asks, what is the need of the country, what data they have segregated, and what is the things that they expect. So, Shweta, you cannot rely on ChatGPT. Please don't do that. You can take its help, but don't just blindly follow whatever information ChatGPT has given to you. See, for example, if you ask ChatGPT to find any case laws, it will give its own imaginary case laws. This has happened, wherein the courts have told, like, no, this is not done. And also the recent one wherein a law student, he has leveraged chat gpt for his examination, and even after that he flunked. He asked that, like, how can ai go wrong? So those things happen. So please do not rely on totally on that one. And also, as we as we saw, the confidential information that we put up in the chat GPT is not confidential. They can share it to their business partners, they can share it to their affiliates, they can share it to whosoever they like. If you see that data sharing clause, so we do not want our data to be shared with some other people. That is also very important. Now it is like if you are putting on in any data, like I am having an agreement with a hospital, then the chat gpt is knowing, right? Like, yeah, you are having the administration, and this is what you are doing and all other things. So that's a question of concerns. Does privacy policy covers artificial intelligence, or should we have separate policy for the same? See, Gen AIs are are a different thing from that of the privacy policies. Gen AIs, what they do is like they will have a privacy policy that will be governing between both of us. Like now for example, Chat GPT, I am using Chat GPT, then Chat GPT and I will be governed by a privacy policy. So now what information of mine it is collecting. Now if you ask ChatGPT, like ChatGPT will know. You can ask this question with ChatGPT that what do you know about me? It will give you a big list of yourself. Like you will be amazed to know that, oh, ChatGPT has all my information. I know I tried this the other day and ChatGPT told me that I love to do this, I love to do this, my questions will be related to this, I am doing that, I'm doing this. I was like, okay, so ChatGPT has all these informations. So yes, I do not want ChatGPT to know so much about me. So that's where the things come from. Yeah, see, there are people who have tried that. So I don't want ChatGPT to know so much things about me, and it is using the information, the knowledge that I put in to help to somebody else. Now, for example, if I ask ChatGPT to draft a privacy policy and I keep on giving it inputs, no, do it that, make more elaborative, ChatGPT will learn from it. And now, when somebody is trying to draft a privacy policy, it is going to give that one. And also, the output what ChatGPT gives, Gen AI, they are not IP free. They will be covered as an intellectual property rights of somebody else. What it basically does is it looks at the Google, it finds a notes, it makes a note kind of thing, and it shares with you. So so it is, if you do the plagiarism check, you will definitely find out that yes, the information is from these many sources. And also there is these days we have apps for AI detectors. If you post the answers that you have got from there in that AI detector, it will detect it. It will show it as 100%. I am doing it for the assessments that you have given, so I'm copying it and I'm posting it in the AI detector. So I'll be able to find out like how many people have used AI to generate the assessments or the answers, whatever that has been given. Okay, and also do not do this in interviews. In interviews, if you are asked to draft any clause, to take help of AI, but don't just merely copy and paste it, because it is very easy to deduct if any result or if any writing is AI generated or not. Though you give a prompt that make it like a human written or human generated, or give it a human touch, it is easy to find out. The tech, the reverse engineering tech is very strong, and it is easier to find out. So don't do that. Okay, so we deviated from the topic. Yeah, before we conclude, any question on privacy policy? Yes, correct. There are different privacy policies, different things. As we read in the chat GPT, the first line, if you remember, I'll give that link also. For US, for UK, for your the some other countries, there was a different privacy policy, and for non-EU countries, there is a different privacy policies. So there are different privacy policies. That's a very correct statement. Okay, so I think I can give you about 6 minutes back. Yeah, thank you everyone, and yes, we'll meet in our next session in uh, in our like on procurement policy next Wednesday. Thank you everyone for attending.
Thank you, ma'am.